people earn $30,000, but imagine the Singaporeans who are CEOs and directors earning 40, 50,000 and above. Their salaries could be depressed to $30,000 by foreigners who are currently in their present country, like be it North America, be it Europe, be it Australia, be it South America, who are currently unemployed or who are employed, but for them 30,000 is more than what they are earning due to currency rate exchanges. So they decide to come here. They could actually be suppressing the salaries of our top earners who earn more than $30,000 in practicality. I mean, this is just anticipation on my part. So with that done, the next speaker I'd like to introduce is Mr. Leong HIan. Hopefully his voice is as loud as mine or even louder. For those guys who mentioned cannot hear, please come nearer or come forward to this side. Thank you very much. I pass to Mr. Leong.
Hey Prabhu, how can my voice be louder than yours? You are only 30 plus, I double 68. Tan Kim Lian mentioned when he started his speech that we met at ORA and I asked him if he would like to speak at today's event. So what is ORA? Old Reflection Association Dinner. So I have a confession to make. I'm from RI, the lousy school, and I'm illiterate. I have known Kim Lian for 38 years. About 38 years ago, I was president of a professional body and my association joined the Singapore Professional Center. That's where I met Kim Lian 38 years ago. He was then the president of the Singapore Actuarial Society. Kim Lian is a very good friend and very nice person. Whatever you ask him, always say yes. Thank you, Kim Lian, for coming to speak with us today. When you look at the job statistics, it is so sad. It is so sad when you look at the job statistics. 当你看人力部的统计，很悲哀啊！为什么很悲哀？给一个例子给你吧。2天前，9月1号，人力部宣布，159千的低收入的工人，本地工人，从9月1号开始有最低的薪水，就是1400块。1400块是很多吗？扣了公积金20%，1120，这个薪水是很 OK 吗？问题是，当你看到新闻讲报告的统计，你要深入一点，分享一下它基本上是讲什么。159千本地工人，从9月1号最低的薪水1400块。这159千的人，就是那些老板有请外劳的公司才需要给这个最低的收入。如果你的老板没有请外劳的，他连这个最低的1400也不必给你。所以问题就是你要问，有多少的本地人每个月的薪水是少过1400的，因为他们的老板没有请外劳，这个1400与他无关的。It is so sad when you look at the job statistics. 2 days ago, it was announced that 159,000 local workers will get a minimum salary of $1,400. After the typical 20% CPF employee deduction, you get $1,120. Wow! What a great achievement, right? after so many years, labor movement, we finally, September the 1st, can give this miserable $1,400 as the minimum salary for local workers. But if you read the details, this 159,000 minimum salary, 1,004, only applies to employers who employ foreign workers. So for employers who don't employ any foreign worker, they don't even have to give this miserable $1,400. So how many people are getting even less than $1,400? Because there's no requirement to pay this minimum as long as the employer does not employ a foreign worker. Now in the same announcement, oh, progressive wage model, very good. July the 1st, PWM, cleaners pay increased to how much? About $1,400. September the 1st, retail workers, minimum pay increased how much? $1,850. After 20% CPA deduction, 1,300 plus. What is the progressive wage model's biggest problem? It only applies to outsourced workers. Let me explain. I am a security agency, I'm a cleaning company. I bid for a contract. So I'm required to follow the PWM. If I'm a small company, I employ 1, 2, 3 persons. I don't bid for any contracts. It's an in-house worker. PWM does not apply to them. I don't even have to pay the minimum of the PWM. But good news, 2 days ago it was announced about 19,000 people who are in-house workers that PWM does not apply to them will now apply to them. So in a sense, everybody in the pre-WM sectors, whether in-house, outsourced, will get the minimum. But again, you read the details, there's one problem. No enforcement action to be taken against any employer until February they do not comply with this requirement. My God, after decades, you hit this miserable 1,004 or whatever, and then you still have to wait until February before you enforce it. Something very wrong, right? You read the news. Oh, record job vacancies in the history of Singapore. There are more jobs than people can take, record job vacancies in the history of Singapore. Employment has gone back to pre-COVID levels. Many jobs available, cannot find worker. Income going up, so don't have to worry so much about inflation. You see, sometimes when you look at job statistics, we have this saying, the left don't seem to gel with the right. I give you one example. In the last quarter, the number of unemployed Singaporeans went up by 40%. You say record job vacancy, ma? You say employment level back to pre-COVID, ma? You say nobody got job, nobody want, ma? Right? In the first 2 quarters, most of the job growth are foreign workers and not locals. Then how is it possible with all this great good news that in the last quarter, the number of unemployed Singaporeans went up by 41% to 80 over 1,000. If you don't listen to us at Hong Lim Park talk about jobs of Singaporeans and you read the newspaper, you probably never realize that there were 81,000 unemployed Singaporeans as of June, end of second quarter. You probably never realized that the number of unemployed Singaporeans went up by 41% in the last quarter. So how do I know? Well, The MOM, Ministry of Manpower website, publishes two unemployment statistics: the seasonally adjusted statistics and the non-seasonally adjusted statistics. Most of the time, what you read in the media, in the narrative, in the press release, is the seasonally adjusted statistics. It looks better, okay? Not all the time. But in my view, when you have extremely high inflation, when you're in a pandemic situation, perhaps even more important to highlight the non-seasonally adjusted statistics. Why? Non-seasonally means this is the actual number of people who are unemployed as of 30th June. 80 over 1,000 Singaporeans, 90 over 1,000 Singaporeans and PRs, locals. 757,000 full-time employed residents or unemployed. Net take-home pay estimated monthly less than $2,400. What do I mean by net take-home pay? That means your gross income less your typical 20% employee CPF contribution. So many people earn so little. 757,000 full-time employed residents or unemployed take-home pay 2,400 or less. Hey, look at the statistic definition. It says full-time employed residents. If you include the part-time people, wow, how many people must be earning very low pay, right? So what is the difference between full-time and part-time? You see, many years ago, a part-time worker was defined as somebody who worked up to 30 hours a week. Then many years ago, they changed the definition. So a part-time worker is now someone who works up to 35 hours a week. Then you are counted as part-time. So I always like to tell this joke. By the stroke of a pen, you make everybody look as if they earn more. Let me explain. When you change the part-time definition from 30 hours to 35 hours, the 30-hour people will absorb the 31 to 35-hour people, right? So everybody in the 35 below look as if they're earning more money. Now the full-time people who have gotten rid of all those who are working from 31 to 35 and push them to the part-time. So only left less full-time people who are working more than 35 hours. So they also look like they're earning more money. Magic, right? But of course, the key number is all together, everybody. Are you earning more money or not? And how much more? How much more are you earning? Inflation in July was 7%. If you have no job, your pay is so low, how do you cope with inflation? I think we are the only country in the world that during this period of high inflation and pandemic has insisted and continue to insist that GST will go up on 1st January. Try to find me another country that increased GST during a pandemic and high inflation, uniquely Singapore. If you look at the historical statistics, almost invariably, every time GST increased, the inflation increased even more. So as if things are not bad enough. Not only that, find me another country that increased fuel duties during the pandemic. Singapore. Find me another country that increased property tax during the pandemic. Singapore. Find me another country that increased public transport fares during the pandemic. Singapore. It's so sad, right? When you look at the jobs statistics. Actually, it's so hot now. I'm even more sad. I think I better stop. Thank you.